Welcome to day 47 of 1,350 days. And today you can see me at the tennis courts. And I wanted to give you guys a little bit of an insight into what I do besides writing books and speaking and all the stuff I do online. Since 2003, so that is 16 years now, I think, I've been a tennis coach. I'm also a hypnotherapist as well, and I might show you some of my work with that in another video, but today is the tennis coaching. At the moment, I'm running tennis camps, and you'll see a little bit of footage from those camps on this video. And basically why I want to show you all of this and show you what I do besides the book writing is because quite clearly, if you've been following my sales and you've been keeping track of these videos, and by the way, there are no sales to report on today because I haven't actually checked. The relevance is that clearly I'm not making enough money purely from selling books and speaking and doing talks to support myself entirely. So I also have to work as a tennis coach and a hypnotherapist. I want to show you a little bit of what I do, and then I want to explain how well this sort of strategy can work, this strategy of doing freelance work while also pursuing your main dream as well, how it can help support you, how it's enjoyable, and how it's a real platform to boost you onto higher things. But I explain that after the following clips. Oh, it's all over. What are you all doing? So the camp is over and the kids have gone home. So it's now time for me to explain a little bit more about what I alluded to at the start of this morning about using freelance work as a platform to build towards your dream. Now, believe it or not, I've had this dream of being a best-selling author since 2002 when I left university. But at the time, I had no real clue about how I was going to go about doing it. I knew I wanted to write a book. I didn't know what it was going to be about. And more than all of that, I had no idea how I was going to support myself on the journey to becoming a best-selling author. I had just left university. I didn't have much money of my own. And as I said, I didn't really have the job I was doing. I was working in a sports retail store. I certainly didn't want to continue doing that. So I had to come up with some kind of strategy to help me support me while I worked towards my bigger dream of becoming a best-selling author. The thing I chose to do, as you can obviously see here today, was becoming a tennis coach. I got my qualification in 2003, started coaching in 2003. While I was doing that, I trained to become a hypnotherapist, got my hypnotherapy qualification in 2004, started practicing in 2005, and probably in earnest started writing my first book, Escape the System, in 2007. So basically, the whole point of this video is, number one, to show you, give you a little bit of an insight into what I do besides the writing, but number two, to explain this strategy to you. Basically, even back then in 2003, I was looking for a job which was relatively well paid per hour, where I could control my hours and therefore have enough free time to write as well. So for tennis coaching now, it really depends. This was a kids camp I was doing this morning, which you saw the footage from, so it's more sort of fun-based stuff. And depending on how many kids I get, you know, I used to do really well with these camps. I could have been making sometimes, I don't know, 80, 90, maybe at absolute best £100 an hour on these camps. It's diminished somewhat now, but I still get, you know, with these camps, my individual rate per hour is £34. That's for a one-to-one lesson. Groups, you can sometimes get a bit more. I go into schools, maybe I'll get 60, 70 pounds an hour. Let's average it out at around 40 pounds per hour, 45 per hour. Tennis coaching, and then 80 to 60 pounds an hour for the hypnotherapy. So the reason I'm telling you the amounts is because you've got to try to find some work which is relatively well paid per hour, so you don't need to do a huge amount of hours in order to have enough money to live on. Say when you hit £600 a week, or if we're talking in US dollars, maybe $800 a week, you can live off that, you know, if you're careful with your spending. The point is, set a minimum amount that you can get by on, get freelance work which pays relatively well paid per hour. So to make £600 a week, I really only have to work maybe 20 hours, probably less than, maybe a little less than that. I probably do work a bit more with my tennis coaching and hypnotherapy than 20 hours a week, so I'm making more than £600 a week, plus I'm making money with my books as well. But the point is, you don't need to do a whole lot of hours to make a livable income. Then you've got the greatest resource available to you, which is time to pour into your dream. For me, obviously, it's writing books. For you, it could be anything: creating a product, building a business, whatever it might be. But you have that time. That's the whole point. When you're in control of your time by being a freelancer, you then can dedicate your time towards your main goal and project. Right now, I'm doing a lot, probably the least tennis coaching and hypnotherapy hours I've ever done in the 16 years, because I am starting to make some money from my writing, so I can then scale back. So that's what I'm advising you guys to do. I hope you've enjoyed this insight into the other side of my life as well, and join me for day 51 on Monday. I'll see you then.